Hey, what's up guys? My name is Leonardo. I'm more known as LBM, the Mordhau community. Today I wanted to talk about this game I love, Mordhau, and its community that I basically spend most of my time on. So just a quick introduction, Mordhau is a melee medieval slasher game. I mean sword combat is basically the gist of this game. Mechanics and strategy is a great part of this game. I am a pro player with over 1,000 hours. So guys, if you like this video, make sure to click a like on it. If you're enjoying my content, please make sure to subscribe down below. So yeah, without further ado, let's go into the video. Now I want to talk about some of the terminologies that people who are not involved in the community may not know. These terminologies are fundamental for people to understand how the game works. These need to be common knowledge if someone wants to be a part of the Mordhau community. There are two main types of attacks, stabs and slashes. There are three main types of slashes you can do: overhead slashes, horizontal slashes, and underhand slashes. Another important mechanic is a parry. If you time a parry right, it will be useful to block incoming attacks. In regards to parry, there is something called parry lockout. Parry lockout is the time in between parries. You will be vulnerable to enemy attacks if you parry too early or too late. You need to time it just right to block an enemy attack successfully. The final terminology I want to talk about is a feint. This is when you cue an attack but cancel it before it delivers. This mechanic will be used to trick your opponent into parrying, so you can score a free hit while he is in parry lockout. Now I want to jump into the main focus of the video. I'm here with my good friend and one of the Mordhau developers, Mike, who's one of the meaningful people that taught me the ropes of competitive Mordhau. Because of his vast experience in melee games, he helped me understand and further my views and strategy. I wouldn't be the player I am today without his influence. Hey Mike, let's start by telling who you are and what you do in the Mordhau community.
Hi, so like you said, my name is Mike, and I handle all of the user interface development for the game Mordhau.
Hey Mike, can you explain what user interface development means?
Yes, sure. So the user interface for any program is essentially the interactive bits, the menus, the buttons, the sliders, the drop downs, the checkboxes, and so on. So my job involves designing these menus and making them as intuitive as possible, while also creating them in the same sort of consistent style with the rest of the game, and on top of connecting the dots behind the scenes to make everything click together and work.
So, how did you end up working with this amazing game?
So back in 2012, this other melee medieval game came out called Chivalry Medieval Warfare. And at the time I was in high school, and so I had a lot of free time on my hands. And I spent that free time grinding and playing Chivalry competitively. And over time, I became fairly well known in this small niche community of competitive players. And that being well known led to me being invited to the closed testing of another prototype medieval game that was being made by some European competitive players. And during this testing, I asked them if they needed help. There was just the two of them, two or three of them working on it at the time. I asked them if they wanted my help on the user interface design for it, and they just said yes. And so the rest is history. Throughout, in parallel with my growth as a competitive player in this community, I was also teaching myself graphic design on the side. And so I could kind of work with both mediums and push them both forward into the same space, which I very much enjoy.
How else are you, as a developer, participating in the Mordhau Discourse community?
So we have a official Mordhau Discord channel, and within this Discord channel, there are separate channels for general discussion, feedback, tech support. We even have channels for people to showcase the characters that they've built, a channel for more serious, competitive level discussion on the mechanics and the balance of the games. And so it's through a lot of these channels that we as developers get to interact with the community directly and answer questions and just generally be involved with the discussion of what is going on what is going on with the game.
And how is the community involved in the development?
So there are multiple ways that we involve the community in the development process. The primary way is through the Discord channels that I mentioned previously. We can discuss with the community, and they can give us their feedback and their criticisms and suggestions on how we can improve the game. That's the main way that we involve the community. In the near future, we plan on announcing a community screenshot challenge in which players in the community can take their best screenshots of the game and submit them to us, and we will implement them inside of the game in various ways.
Oh, that's actually so cool. You can bring the community in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I wanted to touch up on some issues within the community. Are there any issues, good or bad, worth noting?
Yeah, in terms of a good issue, I would say the amount of feedback that we get every day. We have a lot of very passionate players in the community in all of the skill levels and all of the different backgrounds, all from all across the world. And a lot of times it can be very difficult to sift through the noise to find what are people actually trying to say. And especially you get much contradictory feedback from high skill players saying something and then low skill players saying something else, and it can be very hard to compromise between the two. So it's great that there are very passionate players willing to give their feedback. That's a great issue to have, but it does make it tricky sometimes. In terms of a bad issue, again, it goes back to the community where, due to the anonymity provided by online gaming and the internet, people can be offensive in the game chat. Maybe they're having a bad day and they're losing and you beat them all the time. They're going to start saying some stuff in chat to you, in the text chat. So, to remedy this, I have implemented different types of mutes into the game. So, if you see any of these offensive messages come up from another player, you can simply click the message and mute that player so you just don't see their messages come through. Or alternatively, and I'm pretty proud of this one, is I came up with a motivational mute, which when you apply that to the player, whenever they type a message, it doesn't matter what it is they type, in comes a motivational quote. So even though on their end they might be harassing you and saying all these offensive slurs, on your end you're just getting these nice, happy, motivational messages.
Finally, how can someone currently uninvolved join and be a part of the Mordhau community?
Anyone can get involved in the community simply by just participating in the discussion, by posting stuff, by asking questions. For the most part, people are very hospitable and very welcoming to new players and are willing to take the time to show them the ropes and teach them a thing or two. And overall, it is a very approachable community.
Hey Mike, I really appreciate it. You taking your time to come here and chat with me and give some light to this community that we know and love.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
So guys, what do you think of the video? I really enjoyed making the interview with Mike. It was really fun. So if you guys have any questions for me or Mike about the game, about anything really, just be sure to leave a comment down below. And I'll see you guys on the next video.